What's up guys, it's Mark here back with another video. Today I want to talk to you guys about the process that I go through for making fonts, and I'd like to just basically run through the entire thing. So I'm going to make a font with you guys are going to see the whole process from start to finish. So on the screen now I've got some images that you can see. This is a font that I just released. This was actually quite a simple one. I'll probably do something similar for the example just so it's easy to follow, but yeah, I recently drew this font, the whole alphabet, all the punctuation and letters, and turned it into a font all in the space of a day. I think maybe like 4 hours or something it took me from start to finish, although granted I've done it many times before, so it's a bit easier for me. So it is a really quick and easy process. It's not as hard as you probably think it is. It's certainly not as hard as it used to be back when I started making fonts, when the software and stuff was like way more complicated than it is now. Anyway, so just really quickly, I want to cover a couple of things before we get stuck into any actual work. So there's a few big components in making a font. There's the whole aspect of actually designing the letters and the alphabet and all of that. And then there's actually taking those characters or glyphs and turning them into a proper full working font. Because you guys are probably more interested in seeing how a font is made, I won't spend too much time running through how to draw each of the individual letters. In fact, I'll probably draw like half of the alphabet or something and then show you guys how to make that into a font, because it's the same thing for every character essentially anyway. I also just want to quickly cover off on some software that I'm going to use, just so I don't want you guys to be wasting your time if you don't have this software or don't want to get it or whatever. So I'm running a PC, not a Mac. Not that it really matters. All the software I'm using works on both. I use Photoshop to draw my letters initially. I'll be using a Wacom tablet. You could use Procreate though if you have something like that, or you can draw them on paper, scan them into a computer. Doesn't make a difference, but I'll be drawing in Photoshop. Then I'm going to take those letters across to Illustrator to create vector versions of them. You could also just make the letters from scratch in vector format in Adobe Illustrator. And then from there, I'm going to use a plugin for Adobe Illustrator called Font Self, and that is a purchase plugin. Okay, so it's not free. I just wanted to make that clear from the start. I bought it off Creative Market, and just to clarify, I've got no affiliation with any companies and any software. That's just the one that I've found the easiest to use. You can basically just highlight a bunch of your letters and stuff like that in Illustrator, and it will do so much of the work for you compared to what I used to do when I used software like FontLab Studio and that kind of thing. It used to take so long to make the individual glyphs and all that. And this add-on for Illustrator, which does cost money, like I said, but it's so unbelievably easy, so I would recommend checking it out. But there are some applications out there where you can make fonts for free. I think on Macs the program called Glyphs is quite good for making fonts. I don't think it's going to be as easy as this, but I think it is free, but don't quote me on that. Anyway, I'll put a link in the description if you guys want to check out the add-on that I'm going to use to make the font. And yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything we need to know off the bat, so let's begin. Okay, so I'm in Photoshop. I'm ready to start drawing my letters. I've made a document here. It's a decent size resolution. I went for 2500 by 2500 pixels. It's a high-ish resolution. Doesn't matter too much. The reason I did that is because when I take the letters to Illustrator, I'm going to image trace them, and if they're relatively decent quality, it's going to make the process easier. Whereas if I worked on a really small pixelated file, Illustrator is not going to be able to read that file properly. It's going to lead to issues. Just trust me, it's just easier this way. So whenever I make a font and I draw the alphabet like this, I draw out some guidelines like the pink ones that I put on the screen here. The reason for this is pretty simple. You need to make sure that all your letters are in the same proportions. If they are not in the same proportions, they're going to look weird. It's going to be obvious when you make the font that something's not quite right, and it's going to just lead to heaps and heaps of issues. Like I said, this video I don't want to talk too much about designing and drawing letters. I want to talk more about making a font, but I just want to quickly illustrate why you should use guidelines and make sure that everything is in the same proportions. So if you take a look real quick, I've drawn an A and a B here. The B is way bigger than the A, which is stupid. And the reason for that is when I go and make the font, I want all my letters to be the same size, right? So it's going to scale them all down. So if I scale this letter B down to match the A, now the weight of that letter is completely different. You can see it's really thin compared to the A. So then my letter's going to be inconsistent. I'm going to have to come back and redraw them again or add weight and all that kind of thing. And it's just super painful, so don't do that. Make a bunch of guidelines like this. If you want to use lowercase and uppercase, you can make 3 guidelines, one for the cap height, and then so on and so forth. That way you could have, say, A and B and have another line there like that. So like I said, don't want to spend too much time on this. I want to talk about making the font instead. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw out some of the letters really quick and really rough. So this will be my A, B, I'll do a C and a D. If you really want to as well, you can do vertical guidelines. That way your letters are kind of consistent the way across. Like I can tell just as soon as I look at these, that B that I've made is too thin, but I don't really care. I'm going to leave it anyway to make an example of it. And then I'm going to draw a couple of punctuation and symbols and stuff. I'll show you why in a minute. First, I'll just draw a number because I will demonstrate how to do numbers. So I'll put in a number 2. I'll draw a exclamation and maybe a minus. I'll take it a plus and colon or semicolon, whichever one that is. I always get them mixed up. Cool. So now I have my letters. Just pretend that I've drawn the entire alphabet. I encourage you to go ahead and do that as well. And now what I'm going to do is copy paste these into Illustrator. So I'll get rid of the guidelines so that they're not showing up. Copy them, paste them into my Illustrator document. Then I'm going to open up the image trace window. I've spoken a lot about the way that I do this in previous videos and why I use the settings that I use, so feel free to check them out. I think my very first video was about image tracing letters and stuff like this. So anyway, gonna crank the paths up really high so I get lots of detail, corners down really low and noise down really low again for detail, and ignore the white. Preview, looks good, expand. Don't worry too much about that, it should hopefully make sense anyway. I'm gonna go ahead and now just ungroup these so that they're all separate letters. So as you can see, I can scale it up. It's vector now, so it's high quality, not going to lose quality as I scale it and that sort of thing, which is what we want for a font. So now we need to go ahead and open up the font self add-on that I was telling you about. So to do that, you go window, then down to extensions, and then font self maker. I've already got it open over here, so I'll just click on it. Now, when I grab my letters here, I'm going to select them, right? And I'm going to drag and drop them onto font self. Now normally font self is quite smart, you see. So normally if I had drawn the entire alphabet and selected all 26 letters at once like this, font self would highlight these A to Z categories here, and it would be smart enough to figure out that I've got the entire alphabet, and it would automatically make them into all the letters for me. Because I only chose to do 4 letters, I've made life a bit harder myself here, and it can't quite tell, so I have to go to any character batch. So watch what happens next. It imports these and turns them into glyphs for me straight away. Now if you did the whole alphabet, yours would already be pre-filled, and it would have picked up that they were A to Z already, and that's awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click underneath each one of these in the orange box. This is where you tell it which character or which glyph the letter is for. So I'm just going to type in capital A, capital B, capital C, and capital D. So now you can see there's a box here for a live preview. If I click into that, I can actually start typing capital A, B, C, D, just like that. So it's already, made those 4 glyphs in the font for me, which is awesome. If you want to as well, now, if you wanted to increase the spacing or kerning between all of your letters at once, you can simply click the plus button here and it will space them all out at the same time. This is really cool because normally, or back in the day when I was doing fonts, you have to manipulate every single letter or number one by one by themselves. So it's pretty painful. If you want to, you can make the entire thing scaled up a bit too, so they're all a little bit bigger. And if I just jump down to another line, you can also increase the line spacing like that. So their lines are spaced further apart, which is cool. So there's plenty of cool features that you can do there. So the next one I'm going to do is grab my numbers, do the same thing. Unfortunately, it doesn't know because I've only selected 1 instead of all 10. Just going to go underneath here, type the number 2. Now anytime I type number 2 like that, it figures it out. Now, let's select this exclamation mark and drag it in and see what happens. So you'll notice that something is wrong here, right? So because I've selected two different shapes, which make the one exclamation mark, it thinks I've selected two separate letters and split them up, which you can see over here, when really I want them to both be in the one. So the way we fix that, I'll just delete these real quick. Highlight it. You can group it or unite it. I use the Pathfinder tool, and I'm just going to click Unite so that they are now one. Now, if I click and drag that in, you can see that FontSelf is smart enough to figure out that that's now one glyph, and I can do the exact same thing and type in which one it's for, and now I can type in plenty of exclamation marks. Now, let's say that you wanted to step things up a bit and have not such a simple font. You wanted to add some cool ligatures to the font. I've gone ahead, I paused the video real quick and drew up a ligature using the letters C and A. So let's say that we like having our normal A and our normal C, but whenever we type C followed by A, we want to display this other cool version, this ligature instead, because we think those two letters flow really well. This is really common in a lot of different fonts. You'd see it pretty commonly used in a normal font, for example, with the letters F and I. So if you had, say, an F and then you had a lowercase I, it's pretty common to actually combine those two together like that. So that's one use case for it. But anyway, so here I've made C and A, and I want to turn that into a cool ligature so that if someone types the letter C, sorry, capital C, it does what it normally does, and then if I choose to put an A after that C, it swaps it out for this cool one that I've designed here. So I'm going to grab that again, drag it over, same thing, batch, let it import the glyph, and then down here where I've got the actual character, all I have to do is type C followed by A, and then I'll click off that and I'll get a pop-up here. So you can see, actually that's cool, it's even got the FI as the example there. So you get two options here, whether you want this to be a standard ligature or discretionary. Standard means that anytime someone types capital C followed by capital A, it will do it by default. Discretionary means it won't, but they can go through the options and choose it in Illustrator and stuff if they want to. I won't spend too much time talking about that, but I'm just going to click standard. So now if I type C, it's fine. If I put a space and type a bunch of A's, they're fine. But if I try and type C followed by A, like the word cab, for example, type C then A, you'll see that it automatically swaps it out for that ligature. Now this one looks kind of dumb and it's not really that useful, but it was only an example I could think of with the 4 letters that I had. Now another thing that we want to do, let's say you've gone ahead, you've done your whole alphabet, you've finished everything. Congratulations, proud of you. That's fantastic. And you want to release this font and give it a name and all that good stuff. Click on font infos here and basically just fill out all of these fields. So you can put links and everything in there. People won't really look at them that much anyway, but still good to have. Give it a name of whatever you like. Jump back and then hit save, and you'll be able to put in a name here, and it will literally save it as a font file on your computer without you having to do any extra work, which is really, really, really cool. Now, let's go into some more details real quick. Let's say that you were really happy with everything. Your letters look really good. They're spaced out exactly how you want them, but you've noticed that maybe a particular combination of letters, let's say the A and the C that you can see here, I like the kerning and spacing for everything except when I type an A and then a C, I think, oh, there's maybe a bit too much space, or maybe even the B and the A, actually, that's probably a better example. I want to just reduce the space between those. So how do I do that to just those specific two characters when they're typed in that order? You click on advanced, you click on kerning, you type in the combo that you want, or I think it just automatically puts in all the letters by default anyway. And let's say I want to change the space between the B and the C here. I can actually just click until I get this little line here and actually shift it. And you can see here that it's actually manually manipulating the space. So I click on the letter I want to change, and there you have it. And you can see that it actually stores all the values here of how much you've changed everything as well, which is really, really cool. And then underneath here, there's just a bunch of live preview text with a whole bunch of different, letter combinations, so that you can easily spot out any issues. It's a really, really easy way to test your font. So yeah, essentially, I know that was pretty high level, and I didn't want to go super crazy on the details, but honestly, that's all you need to do to make your very first font. When you've saved the font, you can always come back to it. You click open here, locate the font on your computer. You can fully adjust all the individual combinations again. So let's say you save the font, release it, and find that there's a couple letters you aren't happy with, come back, fix it. The whole thing is honestly that simple. It is crazy how easy this has gotten. So yeah, hopefully that wasn't too fast. I didn't want it to be like a super long, 2-hour, 3-hour tutorial running through everything. I wanted it to be something you could actually use straight away. So yeah, I hope you guys found that useful. If anything didn't make sense, or I was too quick, or you want more details on anything, or want to see a full long example of me making an entire font, just let me know in the comments. And yeah, if you enjoyed the video, a thumbs up and subscription and all that stuff is always really helpful. Otherwise, feel free to join our Facebook group where you can ask me a bunch of questions and stuff as well. Share your work. We share work with each other and what we've been working on. And of course, follow me on Instagram as well, which is where I'm the most active of everything. So yeah, thanks very much guys, and have a good weekend.